we shall understand the monetary approach to balance of payments in this module. We shall begin with the case of an open economy. In an open economy, the country has to maintain its internal balance wherein the demand for and supply of goods and services within the economy is in equilibrium, and also the external balance wherein it attains the balance on both current account and capital account. Different theories have come up on how the economy will maintain equilibrium in its internal market as well equilibrium in the balance of payment account. Monetary approach to the balance of payment came up in the year of 1950 and 1960s by the International Monetary Fund's Research Department under Jacques J. Pollack and by Harry G. Johnson, Robert A. Mundell and their students at the University of Chicago. According to this theory, a balance of payment deficit is always and everywhere a monetary phenomena. Hence, it can only be corrected by monetary measures. According to Humphrey 1981, the monetary approach is a framework for analyzing how integrated the open national economies eliminate their excess money supplies and demands. However, note that this approach does not assume that the money supply and demand are the only factors determining the balance of payments. It says that the main route through which any real variable, say output or real interest rate, affects the balance of payment is through its effects on the demand and supply of money. Since monetary approach to balance of payments came up during the period of 1950s and 1960s when the exchange rates were fixed, this approach is basically an approach of fixed exchange rate regimes and focuses on the long run equilibrium changes in the money market and balance of payments. Note that it is difficult to say how long this long run is. Long run period starts when the economy has adjusted to the changes in the economy to its full capacity. Also note that the monetary approach to the balance of payments has been primarily used by the International Monetary Fund for the economies which are facing troubles in their balance of payment accounts, for the economies whose currency is not a vehicle currency. Thus, in this module, we will study the IMF procedure for analyzing the balance of payments problem. In this module, we will study the purpose of this approach and its mathematical and graphical representation. Towards the end, we will highlight some of the criticism of this approach.
After studying this module, you shall be able to know the concept of monetary approach to balance of payments, understand the purpose of this approach, learn how to derive this approach mathematically, identify how the effects of this approach differs under fixed and flexible exchange rate regimes. Let us begin by understanding the purpose of monetary approach to balance of payments. Monetary approach to balance of payment as a theory came up as a criticism to earlier theories of achieving balance of payments. The purpose of this approach was to consider money supply as an important determinant in the balance of payment and to understand the role of monetary policy in the adjustment of prices at the international level or the world prices. Monetary approach to balance of payments rest on some basic assumptions. Before going into the mathematical representation of this theory, it is imperative to go over these assumptions. The first assumption is law of one price holds, that is, identical goods are sold at similar prices in different countries after taking into account the transportation cost. The second assumption is that there is perfect substitution in both goods market and in capital market. This ensures that there is a single price for each commodity in every country and there is single interest rate across the countries. It assumes that the world markets for goods and services and for securities are efficient. The third assumption of the monetary approach to balance of payment is that, given the assumptions 1 and 2, prices are exogenously given. Money adjusts to prices and not the other way round. There is arbitrage and there are no effects of relative price effects on real variables. The fourth assumption is that there is no government intervention. Under fixed exchange rates, sterling is not allowed. That is, central bank cannot conduct open market operations to offset the impact of foreign exchange market on the money supply. The fifth assumption of the monetary approach to balance of payment is that economies operate at full employment level of output so that there is wage price flexibility. Thus, output is exogenously given for each country and at the world level as well. The sixth assumption says that this theory assumes that there is automatic adjustment to the balance of payments, that is, any disequilibrium in the balance of payments or in the exchange rates is a reflection of the difference between the actual money stock and the desired money stock and hence will automatically adjust to the equilibrium. Given assumptions 5 and 6 above, the next assumption is that this theory is primarily concerned with long-run phenomena and not with the short run because it is difficult to assume automatic adjustments in the balance of payments without government intervention below full employment level of output in the short run. The last and the eighth assumption is that this theory gives more focus on international investor who is deciding to park his funds in the securities which are giving him the maximum returns. Thus, he compares the securities of two or more countries simultaneously. Given these assumptions, the main implication of monetary approach to balance of payments is that under fixed exchange rate system, monetary policy is ineffective. Since monetary approach to balance of payments is a monetary phenomena, so we need equations for money demand and money supply and an equation depicting the balance of payments of a country. Thus, we will now move to the mathematical representation of monetary approach to balance of payments. Demand for real balances is assumed to be stable function of income and rate of interest given by equation 1 as m by p d is equals to L bracket y comma I bracket close, where m by p d is equals to demand for real balances, md is equals to nominal money demand, P is the price level, L is the money demand function, Y is output or income level in the economy, I is the interest rates. Changing the above equation little bit, we will get the demand for nominal money in the economy. Thus, we can say that the demand for nominal money balances is given by equation 2 as MD is equals to P into L bracket Y comma I bracket close. Or, in other words, demand for nominal money balances is some function of output or income, interest rates, and the price level in the economy, given by equation 3 as MD is equals to F bracket Y comma P comma I bracket close. Let us begin with money demand equation. Demand for nominal balances increases with the level of output or income in the economy. Demand for nominal money balances increases with the price level in the economy. Higher the price level, higher is the amount of money individuals have to give up for buying goods and services, and hence higher the demand for nominal money balances. Thus, we have Fp is greater than 0. Demand for nominal money balances decreases with the increase in the interest rates. Higher the interest rate, higher is the opportunity cost of holding nominal money. Note that output is exogenously given as the economy is operating in the long run, where it is at full employment level. So, output is assumed to be equal to YF, the full employment level of output. Moreover, interest rates are fixed at the world interest rates, or I is equals to I star, where I star is the world interest rates. Prices are flexible in the long run. Thus, the only factor that can affect the demand for nominal money balances in the long run is the domestic price level. In an open economy, supply of nominal balances is the domestic credit extended by the central bank within the economy plus the net foreign exchange reserves the central bank owns. Domestic credit includes the money available within the economy, which includes currency with the public and other credits to the public or to the government. Thus, the supply nominal money balances in the economy is given by equation 4. MS is equals to C plus R, where MS is supply of money balances, C domestic credit, R foreign exchange reserves. Note that the domestic credit C is exogenously given and is under the control of central bank. However, foreign exchange reserves R is endogenous in an open economy, making the supply of nominal money balances endogenous. Central bank can change the domestic credit to bring about any change in the supply of nominal money balances. Money market will be in equilibrium when the demand for nominal money balances equals the supply of nominal money balances. Thus, equation 3 and 4 will give the equilibrium in the money market, that is, equilibrium level of domestic credit, price level, and foreign exchange reserves given the level of output at full employment level and domestic interest rate at world interest rate. The equilibrium equation is given by equation 5 and 5 dash as MD is equals to MS F bracket Y comma P comma I bracket close is equals to C plus R. Any change in the demand for nominal money balances will be counterbalanced by a change in the supply of nominal money balances. This equation also signifies that the amount of foreign exchange reserves a country has is the difference between the demand for nominal money balances and the supply of nominal money balances within the economy, or mathematically R is equals to F Y comma P comma I bracket close minus C. Moving on to the balance of payment equation. Balance of payment equation is nothing but the balance on the external accounts of an economy. In other words, balance of payment balances when change in the foreign exchange reserve is zero. Considering equation 6, it is nothing but the balance of payment equation given by B as in equation 7. B is equals to change in R is equals to bracket Y comma P comma I bracket close minus change in C. The economy achieves balance on external accounts when its balance of payments accounts balances out, or when B is equals to 0. If B is less than 0, that is, a deficit on balance of payment accounts implies that there is a reduction in foreign exchange reserves. If B is greater than 0, that is, there is a surplus in balance of payments, which implies an increase in the foreign exchange reserves. Till now, we have not talked about whether the exchange rates are fixed or flexible, and how domestic prices change in an open economy. In this section, we add another equation to the above model, the equation of exchange rates given by equation 8 as P is equals to E into PW, where P is equals to domestic price level, E is equals to exchange rate, and PW is the world price level. Due to the assumption of law of one price, equation 7 will always hold true. Substituting equation 7 into equation 6 dash, the equation of balance of payments, we get equation 9 as B is equals to change in R is equals to bracket Y comma E into PW comma I bracket close minus change in C. In this scenario, the process of adjustment of supply of nominal money balances to make balance of payment equals 0 will differ whether the economy operates under fixed exchange rates regime or flexible exchange rates regime. However, as mentioned earlier, monetary approach to the balance of payments is primarily a phenomena of fixed exchange rate regime. We will explain here how the balance on external account is achieved, fixed exchange rates. However, towards the end, we will provide a brief overview how this approach will work under flexible exchange rate regimes. Under fixed exchange rate regime, the price of foreign currency in terms of domestic currency, or in our case world prices, is fixed, say, at the equation for balance of payment will become that of equation 10 as B is equals to change in R is equals to F bracket Y comma E into PW comma I bracket close minus change in C. Since output is given at full employment level, or YF, interest rate is given at world interest rate, or I star, exchange rates are fixed at, and world price level is fixed at PW. Effectively, demand for nominal money balances appears to be given in the economy. Thus, any surplus or deficit in the balance of payment accounts will be maintained by the changes in the domestic credit. Thus, any policy change that happens within the economy having an effect on the foreign exchange reserves or balance of payment accounts will lead to a change in domestic credit within the economy. Money market equilibrium is attained where demand for nominal balances is equal to its supply or at point E naught. In panel B, balance of payment equilibrium is shown. Corresponding to point E naught, equilibrium in balance of payment account is attained at point B naught. To any point on the left of E naught, demand for nominal balances is greater than its supply. As a result, there is balance of payment surplus or B is greater than 0. It leads to inflow of foreign exchange reserves and equilibrium is attained in the money market when foreign exchange reserves have increased up to the level of R naught. In panel B, this is shown in the portion to the left of the point B naught. To any point on the right of E naught, demand for nominal balances is less than its supply. As a result, there is balance of payment deficit or B less than 0. This leads to an outflow of foreign exchange reserves and equilibrium is attained in the money market when they have decreased up to the level of R naught. In panel B, this is shown in the portion to the right of the point B naught. Further, let's discuss the monetary policy changes and its impact on the balance of payments. As mentioned in the introduction section, the monetary approach to the balance of payments argues that balance of payment is maintained by the monetary policy changes. Thus, any change in the monetary policy will bring about a change in the balance of payments accounts. Let us assume that the economy is having money market equilibrium where demand for nominal money balances is equal to the supply of nominal money balances or MD is equals to MS and hence balance of payments is 0 or B is equals to 0. Suppose there is a monetary expansion leading to an increase in the supply of domestic nominal money balances. With the same demand for nominal money balances, people have more cash balances in their hand, or MS is greater than MD. Let us again assume that the economy is having money market equilibrium where demand for nominal money balances is equal to the supply of nominal money balances or MD is equals to MS and hence balance of payments is 0 or B is equals to 0. Suppose there is a monetary contraction leading to a decrease in the supply of domestic nominal money balances. With the same demand for nominal money balances, people have less cash balance in their hand or MS is less than MD. We shall understand the monetary policy changes and its impact on the balance of payments graphically. Consider the figure shown. It has two panels. In panel A, money market equilibrium is depicted with respect to the foreign exchange reserves R on the x-axis. Demand for nominal balances is independent of the foreign exchange reserves and hence it is a horizontal line which is parallel to x-axis. Supply of nominal balances increases with the increase in the foreign exchange reserves and hence its curve is upward sloping line. Money market equilibrium is attained where demand for nominal balances is equal to its supply or at point E naught. In panel B, balance of payment equilibrium is shown. Corresponding to point E naught, equilibrium in balance of payment account is attained at point B naught. To any point on the left of E naught, demand for nominal balances is greater than its supply. As a result, there is balance of payment surplus or B is greater than 0. It leads to inflow of foreign exchange reserves and equilibrium is attained in the money market when foreign exchange reserves have increased up to the level of R0. In panel B, this is shown in the portion to the left of the point B0. To any point on the right of E0, demand for nominal balances is less than its supply. As a result, there is balance of under flexible exchange rate regime, money demand is not given. It can be changed with the changes in the exchange rates. Thus, now the balance of payment equation will become equation 11 as B is equals to change in R is equals to F bracket Y comma E into PW comma I bracket close minus change in C. When B is equals to 0, there is no change in the foreign exchange reserves or change in R will be equals to 0. When there is a balance of payment deficit or surplus, demand for nominal balances and exchange rates will change to bring the balance of payment into equilibrium without any change in the foreign exchange reserves. Moving on to the criticism to monetary approach to balance of payments, the monetary approach to balance of payments has been criticized on two major counts. First, it completely neglects the short-run analysis and money demand is assumed to be a stable function of income, prices, and interest rates, which may not be true in the short run. Second, there are some market imperfections, trade regulations, and information asymmetries because of which law of one price may not hold.
Let us now summarize what we have learnt in this module. Monetary approach to the balance of payments says that nominal money supply and demand are the only factors determining the balance of payments. The balance of payments is achieved where nominal money demand equals the nominal money supply. Under fixed exchange rate regime, nominal money supply is endogenous and equilibrium in money market and BOP is achieved through the outflow and inflow of the foreign exchange reserves. Under flexible exchange rate regimes, money market equilibrium and BOP is achieved through the flexibility of exchange rates and prices, and hence there is no outflow or inflow of the foreign exchange reserves.